So I just got done watching Text Me When You Get Home. This story takes place in Vancouver, Washington. It's about a young lady named Nikki Kuhnhausen. She was 17 years old. So Nikki Kuhnhausen was actually a transgender female. She was out and proud. She spent a lot of time on social media. She enjoyed TikTok, Facebook, and the like. Now, Mom mentioned that at the time, Nikki was staying with her father and a group of friends that were kind of in a bad way. And the night before she went missing, she'd lost her cell phone. She was using a roommate's phone to message her mother on Facebook Messenger. They said their good nights. They said they'd talk tomorrow, but her mother never heard from her. After about a day, Nikki's mom reaches out to Nikki's brother and says, "Hey, what do you think happened to her? I haven't heard from her. Have you?" He says, maybe she's having some romance issues. Just give her space. She might want space from people. After about 5 days, it's actually Nikki's friend Taylor who reaches out to Mom and says, "Nikki's missing. You need to go to the police." So she eventually reaches out to police, and police immediately go back to a case where Nikki was popped 6 times the year before. They consider the fact that she never went forward and testified against this person, so they are unnamed. This is who they're thinking may have done this. Well, police also get a hold of the roommate's phone that Nikki was texting her mother back and forth with, and they find out that she was on Snapchat talking to a guy named David Bogdanov. David's message reads like this: "Hey, it's me. I'm outside in the white van, smiley face again." Police call David in for questioning. He says, "Yes, I met Nikki one night. She was walking on the street. I offered her a ride. She got in. I offered her some vodka, and we drank while I drove her home." They hung out for a bit, and because she didn't have her phone, he exchanged Snapchats with her. So police ask about the Snapchat message. He says, "Yes, I picked her up that night. We drove to my brother's house. We pulled up in the driveway, and we were talking a bit. She eventually tells me that she's not really a woman. I got angry and I told her to get out of my van." He says that she got out and he never saw her or heard from her again. Now, police don't have anything on him. They have no way of proving that he did anything to Nikki, and he doesn't have any priors, so they let him go after questioning. Now, during that time, about 11 transgender people had gone missing in the Vancouver area. Word spreads about Nikki's disappearance, and a bunch of people from the LGBTQIA community form a Nikki task force. They put up flyers trying to find her. The city really goes crazy looking for her. About 2 weeks after Nikki's disappearance, her mother checks herself into a mental health facility. She did mention that she had a severe anxiety disorder, and Nikki's disappearance just did not help that. Also, her son at the time was in prison, and he says that he was just trying to do everything he could to not reach out to her because he felt like not getting a response would have been triggering for him. After exactly 1 month and a day after Nikki goes missing, a man is walking along a trail in the woods and he finds a skull. He calls police and police search the area. So police find a skull, a femur. They find several different rings, pieces of jewelry. They find a yellow neon colored jacket, and they find one of those gas station phone chargers tied in a knot with a loop that's big enough for a small neck. And in the knot on the charger, there are colorful hair extensions. They take everything in for testing, but because they can't prove that the hair extensions belong to Nikki, they compare the rings and the clothing to the pictures that she has up on social media. After they're able to make a match that this is in fact Nikki, they let her family know. Now, the mother doesn't take it well, and her brother finds out while he's still in prison. So they bring David in again for questioning. So the detective lets David know, "Hey, we looked at your phone records and we saw that you were actually in the area where we found Nikki's body." David says, "I think I need a lawyer," almost immediately. The detective says, "That's fine, but we're still going to arrest you for the of Nikki." So they arrest him. He goes to trial. Now, when he gets on the stand, he tells a completely different story than he initially told police. He tells the jury that actually they were in the car, he and Nikki. They pulled up to his brother's apartment. They were kissing and they were intimate. And that's when he discovered suddenly that she had male genitalia. He starts crying, not because of what he did to Nikki, but because he was disgusted by what it was that he had participated in, apparently. He then says that they start to tussle. Y'all, Nikki is 120 pounds. This man can't be any less than 200. So he says they begin to tussle, and he notices that Nikki is reaching for his firearm that's in the front of the van. He gets scared for his life, grabs the cell phone charger cord, and he presses it up against her shoulders. He claims this is the only way that he can restrain her. Now, when he's questioned how it ended up around her neck and tied, he says that it slipped. So he continues to cry and says that he knew that his family wasn't going to believe him when he said that he thought that Nikki was a girl, and he needed to get rid of the evidence. David's defense was he was so distraught when he found out that Nikki was transgender that he reacted without thinking. So the jury finds David guilty of second-degree M, and Nikki's task force initially pushed for the judge to consider it being a hate crime, which that is what it was, and that worked out too. But the maximum sentencing in the state of Washington that they could do for David, because he had no priors, was 19 and a half years. The judge was visibly disturbed by this entire case, and the Senate eventually passed the Nikki Kuhnhausen Act. This essentially means that someone cannot use the defense that they only did it because they were distraught when they found out what someone's gender truly was. And 'cause period. This is the beautiful Nikki. I wish her nothing but peace and her rest, and I wish David nothing but hellfire and fucking brimstone.